Listen closely, chosen one, because this message didn't find you by accident. Heaven has been listening. Every whisper, every tear, every word you thought disappeared into silence, it was recorded in the heart of God. You may have cried alone, but not unseen. You may have felt forgotten, but you were never forsaken. The Father has heard your cry, and tonight, divine help is being dispatched on your behalf. There's a stirring in the spirit realm right now, an urgent movement from heaven's throne. You've been standing in a season that has felt like endless waiting, where prayers turned into sighs and hope flickered in the wind. But as I speak these words, the atmosphere around you is changing. Something unseen is shifting in your favor. Angels are being released. Answers are on the way. You have endured the weight of loneliness, misunderstanding, and exhaustion. People saw the smile on your face, but not the silent battles you fought when no one was watching. They didn't hear the prayers you whispered through trembling lips. But heaven did. And God is saying tonight, enough. The time of endurance is turning into the time of deliverance. What you couldn't see before, the reason behind the delay, the purpose within the pain, is about to be revealed. The tears that watered the ground beneath you have not been wasted. They were seeds, and those seeds are breaking through the soil even now. You are stepping into a divine moment, not tomorrow, not next week, but tonight. Heaven responds. This word comes as confirmation for the one who almost gave up, for the one who said, "God, do you still see me?" The answer is yes. Heaven has seen, heaven has heard, and heaven has moved. Your name has been spoken in the courts of eternity, and what was once pending has been approved. So open your heart and prepare your spirit. Because before this message ends, something inside you will shift. The pain will make sense. The silence will turn to song. And you will know not just hope, not just wish, but know that divine help has been sent. You see, when heaven responds, it doesn't echo like human voices do. It moves through alignment, timing, and divine orchestration. What you are feeling right now, that quiet stirring in your chest, is not imagination. It is confirmation. The Spirit of God is bearing witness inside of you that His hand is already at work behind the scenes. God has not forgotten the covenant He made with you. Long before the pain, long before the confusion, He marked you for purpose. There were moments when you thought He was silent, but He was only strategic. Heaven never ignores a heart that cries out in truth. Every sigh, every groan that words could not form, became a prayer that reached His throne. And now that same throne has issued a command: send help. This help does not always appear in the way you expect. Sometimes it comes wrapped in new strength. Sometimes through unexpected people, and sometimes through doors that open quietly after long seasons of stillness. God's help often wears the disguise of divine timing. It shows up when you are weary enough to surrender and wise enough to recognize that not everything lost was meant to stay. Right now, the Father is reminding you, I heard you when you called. I saw you when you stood in faith, even when everything around you fell apart. I watched you choose hope when despair felt easier. And because you chose to trust me in the dark, I am sending light. This isn't just poetic language, it's a spiritual reality unfolding in real time. The realm of heaven moves differently than ours. While you've been pacing the floor asking when, angels have been pacing the corridors of destiny, preparing how. You are closer to breakthrough than you realize, because what you prayed for has already been spoken for. There's a reason this message reached you now in this exact moment of your journey. The Spirit of God doesn't deal in coincidence. He deals in divine intersections. You didn't stumble here by curiosity. You were guided here by divine instruction. Heaven wanted you to know you have not been overlooked. Help is not delayed. It's been dispatched. Even now, unseen forces are aligning in your favor. conversations you don't know about decisions being made without your presence, hearts being softened toward your purpose. All of it is part of God's invisible assistance. What feels like sudden help is actually long-prepared mercy arriving right on time. And when heaven moves on your behalf, no power on earth or in hell can intercept it. What God has commanded to reach you will find you, because divine orders never expire. The message is clear. Heaven heard your cry, and the response is already in motion. There is a holy silence before great movement. A quiet stillness that comes just before the sound of deliverance breaks through the atmosphere. You've been in that silence, the in-between space where faith wrestles with fatigue and time tests every promise. But the stillness is not empty. It's sacred. In that silence, heaven has been writing your next chapter. The Spirit of God says, I am turning the tide. The weight that pressed you down will become the wind that lifts you up. The same place where you wept will become the ground where you dance. For too long, you've been walking through days that felt gray and heavy, wondering if joy forgot your address. But the clouds are thinning now. Light is breaking through. Help is coming not as a faint whisper, but as a divine invasion. The help God sends is not ordinary. It carries His authority. It knows where to find you, even when you don't know how to move forward. It finds you in midnight prayers, in weary sighs, in moments when you had no strength left to ask. That's where heaven enters, at the intersection of surrender and faith. The prophecy is this: the cry that left your lips has reached the ears of heaven, and a decree has gone out in your favor. Divine intervention is already in motion. There will be evidence, not vague feelings, but tangible shifts. Doors that have been sealed by resistance will begin to creak open. Opportunities that once slipped through your hands will reappear this time, meant for you. People who dismissed or ignored you will be reminded of your name, not by human memory, but by divine prompting. The Lord says, I am sending help in layers. First, I restore your strength, because I cannot bless a weary spirit that cannot carry the weight of answered prayer. Then I send favor, because every open door needs grace to sustain it. Finally, I send revelation, because what I give you must understand how to protect. This is not just about relief. It's about divine repositioning. God is moving you from surviving to ruling, from crying to commanding. You are being called into alignment with promises that were spoken over your life long ago. The warfare you endured wasn't random. It was training. You weren't losing. You were being refined. And now that refining has reached its purpose, the heavens have shifted and the delay has expired. The pain, the confusion, the rejection, they were all ingredients in a divine formula designed to produce endurance, wisdom, and discernment. You are not emerging from this season empty-handed. You are emerging anointed, sharpened, and ready. You will begin to feel divine interruptions, small sacred disruptions in your routine that pull your attention toward destiny. You'll sense a tug in your spirit when it's time to move, speak, or wait. That's heaven guiding your steps. Help is not just arriving externally, it's awakening internally. The Spirit is fortifying your inner man, so that when the external blessing comes, you will not crumble under its weight. And when you see it, when the help manifests in ways you didn't expect, you'll realize God was never distant. He was weaving everything together with precision. Even your delays were divine choreography. The prophecy stands: heaven heard your cry, and God is sending help tonight. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Tonight, because readiness is not about perfection, it's about surrender. You've cried long enough, now comes the response. You've waited faithfully, now comes the fulfillment. The heavens are not silent anymore, they are roaring with movement. Help is coming from where you least expect it, carrying exactly what you need. When heaven moves, it is never random. Every delay, every detour, every tear you shed was woven with purpose into the tapestry of divine timing. God doesn't waste pain, He redeems it. And what you've been walking through was never punishment. It was preparation. The weight of your cry was not weakness, it was worship in disguise. You see, when you cried in the dark, you weren't just asking for relief. Your spirit was releasing a sound heaven could not ignore. There are sounds that reach God faster than words, the sound of surrender, the sound of faith that refuses to die even when nothing makes sense. That sound shook the heavens. It summoned divine response. Heaven heard not because you shouted louder than others, but because your cry carried purity. It was born from honesty, not pride, from desperation, not manipulation. God responds to truth, and your heart has been speaking truth, even when your lips were silent. This is the mystery of divine timing. Heaven never says no when your heart is aligned with His will. Sometimes it simply says, not yet. Because what you were praying for was never denied, it was being refined. God was aligning the right moment, the right people, and the right capacity within you to carry what He always intended to give. In the spirit realm, timing is not measured by minutes or hours, it's measured by readiness. Heaven doesn't release blessings into unprepared vessels. And so your waiting became a sacred classroom. Every disappointment became a teacher. Every rejection carved out new space inside you for wisdom and depth. You were being expanded so that when God's help arrived, it wouldn't overwhelm you, it would empower you. The reason this moment feels so heavy is because heaven's weight is resting on your life. Glory has substance. It's not just light, it's density. You've been feeling the pressure because you've been standing under divine construction. God has been building something within you that others can't see, a foundation that will not crack under promotion. You are learning now that the help of God is not always escape. Sometimes it is endurance. Sometimes the miracle is not that the storm stops, but that you remain standing in it. Because the storm didn't come to destroy you. It came to reveal what was unshakable within you. Every time you thought, I can't do this anymore, heaven whispered, yes, you can, because I'm inside you. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is the same Spirit that has sustained you in your darkest nights. You are not weak. You are chosen for endurance. And chosen vessels carry extra weight because they are meant to pour into others when their time comes. You see, the spiritual meaning of your cry is this: it was never about getting something from God. It was about becoming something through God. You were being transformed from one dimension of faith to another, from dependency on outcomes to dependency on presence. And now that transformation is reaching completion. When you cried, heaven didn't just hear, it began rearranging. Things you thought were falling apart were actually falling into place. People leaving your life were not betrayals. They were divine exits to make room for divine entrances. Closed doors were not punishment. They were protection. You thought the silence meant distance, but it was actually God's way of shielding you from noise that could confuse your destiny. Understand, this divine help doesn't just fix your circumstances, it elevates your vision. It opens your eyes to see the hand of God in what once looked like chaos. You begin to realize that even the detours were divine designs. You see how what tried to break you ended up building you. And tonight, as heaven sends help, it is not just to rescue you. It is to reveal the fullness of what has always been inside you. You will look back and realize that your cry was never a cry of defeat. It was a birth cry. Something new was emerging from within you, and God was midwifing it through the pain. The deeper truth is this: every cry that reaches heaven transforms you before it transforms your situation. You prayed for help, but God sent growth. You prayed for release, but He sent revelation. You asked for rescue, and He gave you resilience because He knows that what is built through endurance can never be stolen by circumstance. So now as help arrives, it doesn't just lift your burden, it activates your calling. Heaven has heard you, yes, but heaven is also awakening you. You're stepping into a new dimension of faith, one that no longer depends on evidence, but rests on trust. The silence was never absence. It was incubation. And now the sound you hear, the message before you, the stirring within, is the sound of divine fulfillment awakening your destiny. When heaven sends help, it leaves traces divine fingerprints on the moments of your day. The Spirit begins to speak through signs that only a sensitive heart can notice. These confirmations are not random coincidences. They are heaven's way of whispering, "It's happening." Pay attention in the coming days, for the signs will not shout. They will shimmer softly, woven into your reality like threads of light. You'll know them not by sight alone, but by how they make your spirit awaken. The first sign will come as peace that makes no sense. You will feel calm in situations that used to stir fear. The storm may not have ended, but you'll find yourself resting in the eye of it. That peace will not come from logic, it will come from presence. It's heaven's way of saying, "I'm here now." The second sign will appear in the form of divine reminders, symbols that seem to follow you. You might see repeated numbers, recurring words, or even hear songs or phrases that echo the very prayers you've prayed. These are not coincidences. They are heaven's echoes, confirming that help has already been released. The third sign will manifest as unexplainable favor. Doors that once resisted you will open without effort. People who overlooked you will now remember your name. Emails, messages, or calls will come from unexpected directions, carrying opportunities that align perfectly with what you've been waiting for. You won't have to chase them. They'll find you. The fourth sign will come through divine interruption. Plans will suddenly shift, appointments, canceled paths, redirected, unexpected pauses that seem inconvenient at first. Don't be frustrated. These pauses are divine redirections meant to position you exactly where heaven needs you to be. The fifth sign will be spiritual sensitivity. You'll begin to feel a deeper awareness of God's presence. Scriptures will illuminate in ways they never have before. Dreams will become clearer. You might even wake in the night with a stirring peace instead of anxiety that's heaven keeping you company. And finally, you'll notice confirmation through others. Someone may speak a word that mirrors what you've just prayed. Or you'll hear your own thoughts echoed through a sermon, a post, or even a stranger's passing comment. These are divine alignments meant to affirm, "Yes, I heard you." Don't dismiss these signs as small. The kingdom often moves quietly. The help that is on its way may not arrive with thunder. Sometimes it comes wrapped in stillness. The goal is not to seek the signs, but to stay sensitive to them, because they're heaven's way of building your faith moment by moment. When these confirmations appear, pause, breathe, whisper, "Thank you, Lord, I see you." Gratitude is what seals revelation. It anchors divine help into the natural realm. The more you acknowledge the signs, the more they multiply. So if you begin to feel peace in chaos, notice unexpected favor, or sense your spirit awakening with hope, know this, it's not random. It's proof. Heaven heard your cry and help is already moving in your direction. There will be signs, quiet, subtle, yet undeniable, that heaven has heard you and help is already near. Not the kind of signs that beg for attention, but the ones that whisper, "I am with you." When God begins to move, the atmosphere around your life starts to echo with divine hints, confirmations meant only for your spirit to recognize. The first sign will be peace, where there should be panic. You'll wake up one morning and realize the heaviness that sat on your chest has lifted. The same situation may remain, but the fear attached to it will be gone. That's not coincidence, that's divine intervention. Peace is heaven's signature. When help is dispatched, peace arrives first as the announcement that the battle has already been settled in the unseen realm. The second sign will be divine interruption. Plans will shift, conversations will detour, opportunities will arise out of nowhere, and at first you'll feel uncertain. But that disruption isn't chaos. It's correction. God is rearranging things to place you exactly where your help can find you. When the divine steps in what feels like delay is direction. The third sign will come through confirmation from unexpected voices. Someone may speak words you've been silently praying. A stranger's message, a song lyric, or even a scripture you've read 1,000 times will suddenly come alive with personal meaning. Heaven speaks through familiar things when it wants you to know you're seen. The fourth sign is the return of strength you thought you lost. You'll feel an unexplainable surge of endurance, the kind that doesn't make sense after so much weariness. That's not adrenaline. That's grace. God renews your spirit before He renews your circumstances because strength is the evidence that help is already close. The fifth sign is alignment without effort. Things will begin to flow, connections, timing, resources, as if the resistance broke overnight. You'll look around and realize what once required constant striving now unfolds naturally. This is how you know heaven's help is no longer pending. It's present. And finally, the sixth sign, a stirring of holy expectancy. You'll sense in your spirit that something is coming, even if nothing looks different yet. It's a divine alert, a gentle vibration of heaven, letting your soul know, stay ready. It's on the way. None of these signs will shout at you. They will hum softly through your days, and your spirit will recognize them like familiar footsteps. These are not random moments. They are divine fingerprints, subtle reminders that heaven is near moving and working. You won't need to chase the signs. They will find you. You'll feel the shift internally before it manifests externally. That's how heaven operates, first in spirit, then in sight. So pay attention, not with your eyes, but with your discernment. Because even now, as you listen to this message, something inside you is saying, this is for me. That awareness, that quiet knowing is itself the first sign. Heaven has already begun to speak confirmation within you. But before the fullness of help is revealed, there is always resistance, not because God is withholding it, but because light always draws attention in the spirit realm. When heaven moves to bless you, darkness scrambles to distract you. It's not a sign that you're losing. It's proof that breakthrough is close. Many people misunderstand this moment. They think the sudden confusion, the emotional heaviness, or the unexpected setbacks mean God changed His mind. But hear this clearly, He didn't. What you are feeling is spiritual turbulence before landing. It's the shaking that happens when heaven's help is descending through the layers of resistance that once surrounded your life. There will be moments when it feels like nothing is changing. You'll question if you heard right, if you misread the signs. You'll wonder why, after such divine confirmation, new problems seem to appear. But that's how the unseen realm tests your faith, not to destroy it, but to strengthen it. Every challenge you face in this moment is a final refinement. The enemy's last strategy before your deliverance is always distraction. He wants to pull your focus from what God is doing to what looks like it's failing. But if you hold your peace and keep your gaze fixed on the promise, the storm will pass and the blessing will land exactly where God intended. These hidden challenges are not punishments. They're permissions for heaven to reveal your maturity. God allows you to be stretched so that when the help arrives, you have the character to handle it. A blessing that comes too soon becomes a burden. That's why God lets resistance refine your readiness. Some of these challenges will come through people. Don't be surprised if those who once supported you suddenly become silent, distant, or even critical. It's not betrayal. It's divine filtering. God is removing the voices that cannot accompany your elevation. He's isolating you not to harm you, but to clarify your hearing. When you're surrounded by too many opinions, it's easy to miss the whisper of truth. Other challenges will come through timing. Delays that make no sense, opportunities that close without reason, these moments are tests of trust. God wants to see if you can rest, even when the process doesn't match your expectation. Faith is not proven by speed, it's proven by stillness. And then there will be inner challenges. The old doubts resurfacing, the fear of being disappointed again. These are remnants of past seasons trying to follow you into your new one. Don't let them. They are echoes, not instructions. Silence them with remembrance. Remind yourself of what God already brought you through, because the same God who sustained you before will not abandon you now. The greatest weapon you can carry through these hidden challenges is perspective. Don't see them as setbacks. See them as signals that heaven is near. Pressure always increases before release. So if you're feeling the weight, don't give up. The shaking isn't a sign to quit. It's a sign to brace. Help is closer than it's ever been. Endure this last stretch, and you'll see what all the waiting was for. Now that heaven's help is moving toward you, you must prepare to receive it. Divine assistance doesn't land on chaos. It lands on readiness. The next steps you take in faith will determine how fully you walk into what's already been released for you. The first instruction is this: quiet your spirit. The noise of worry, overthinking, and constant questioning will drown out heaven's directions. Help is spiritual before it is physical, and you can only recognize it through discernment. Spend time in silence with God. Let Him retune your ears to His frequency. Sometimes the help He sends won't look like help at first, so you need stillness to perceive its form. The second instruction: speak life into your atmosphere. Words are instruments of alignment. You've spent months, maybe years, crying out in pain now. Shift your confession to faith. Begin to say, help is on the way. Heaven has heard me. I will see what God promised. The tongue opens doors in the spirit realm. When you speak faith, angels move. Third, release what's no longer aligned. Before help arrives, God will ask you to make space. That may mean releasing relationships, habits, or mindsets that no longer serve your next chapter. You can't receive what's new while clutching what's expired. Ask the Spirit, what must I release so I can receive? Then obey without hesitation. Let go so grace can flow. Fourth, stay positioned in humility. Pride builds walls. Humility opens gates. Divine help flows through surrender. It's not weakness to admit you need God. It's wisdom. Every time you say, Lord, I can't do this without you, heaven leans closer. Dependence is the magnet of divine assistance. Fifth, keep your hands clean and your motives pure. The help that's coming is holy. God will not entrust sacred things to unguarded hearts. This is a moment to check your intentions. Why do you want the blessing? Is it for validation or to glorify the one who sent it? When purity leads, provision follows. Sixth, watch and listen for instruction in unusual ways. Sometimes divine help comes through what doesn't make sense. An idea that feels too simple, a person you least expect, or a door that opens in an unfamiliar place. Don't dismiss the unusual. God hides direction in the unexpected. The miraculous is often disguised as ordinary. Seventh, move when prompted. The window of divine timing is delicate. When you feel that nudge, that sudden knowing, that peace that says, go move, don't wait for perfect circumstances. Obedience activates assistance. The moment you take a step, heaven multiplies momentum. Eighth, worship while you wait. Gratitude is the soil of manifestation. Even before the help is visible, thank God for what's already on the way. Worship breaks delay. It creates an atmosphere where miracles can land without interference. Remember, worship is not a song. It's an attitude of trust that says, even if I don't see it yet, I know you're working. Finally, guard your faith. The enemy's greatest goal in this hour is not to steal your blessing. It's to drain your belief. Protect your faith like a treasure. Surround yourself with light, with voices that build you, not break you. Keep feeding your soul with truth until your spirit becomes unshakable. And if you falter, if doubt whispers or fear rises, return to the last word God gave you. He doesn't change his mind. His help doesn't expire. The only thing that delays it is disbelief. So believe again, stand firm again, expect again. This is your divine instruction. Stay still, stay pure, stay obedient, stay expectant. Heaven has already dispatched the help. Your part now is to stay aligned so that when it arrives, you can receive it fully, not halfway, not hesitantly, but wholeheartedly. You are not waiting for help anymore. You are waiting in readiness. The difference is faith. As you walk into this new chapter, heaven wants you to know this: you are protected. You have not been left uncovered, not for a single moment. Even in the seasons when you felt alone, there were unseen hands shielding you. Divine help does not travel alone. It is always accompanied by divine protection. There are angels assigned to your name not in theory, but in truth. Every cry you released summoned movement from the heavenly realm. You were never outnumbered, no matter how surrounded you felt. The enemy wanted you to believe that you were defenseless, but you have been wrapped in invisible fire. The word says, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him." That means even in the dark, light was circling you. When danger tried to find you, grace intercepted it. When despair tried to drown you, mercy built a bridge. You don't realize how many arrows have already missed you, because divine hands redirected them. You survived nights that were meant to break you, conversations meant to wound you, and attacks that were supposed to silence you. Yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still becoming. That's not coincidence. That's covenant. Heaven wants you to rest in this truth: you are safe. The same God who heard your cry is the same God who guards your steps. He goes before you to clear the way, walks beside you to steady your pace, and stands behind you to block what tries to return. You are surrounded on every side. Don't be afraid of what you cannot see. Just because it's invisible doesn't mean it's absent. God's protection often works in silence, preventing things you'll never know were even coming. Some of the biggest miracles in your life are the disasters that never happened. The Lord says, "Do not fear the night seasons, for I am the light that keeps watch. Do not fear the silence, for I am speaking in stillness. Do not fear the unknown, for I have already walked ahead of you." The help that's coming is powerful, but so is the hedge around you. Nothing can intercept what heaven has assigned to you. You are not vulnerable. You are fortified. The winds may rise, but they cannot uproot what God has planted. So breathe again. Release the anxiety of wondering what's next. You don't have to look over your shoulder. Heaven is already doing that for you. Rest knowing that divine protection is not seasonal, it's eternal. You are covered in covenant. You are hidden in grace, and no weapon formed against you will prosper. The very forces that tried to destroy you will now serve as witnesses to your preservation. You are safe, not because danger doesn't exist, but because God's presence surrounds you like a wall of fire. You are shielded, sealed, and seen. There comes a moment when everything changes, not gradually, but suddenly. That moment is near. The help that heaven promised is not just coming to fix what was broken. It's coming to transform who you've become through the waiting. This is not merely the end of a hard season. It's the unveiling of the version of you that pain could not destroy. When divine help arrives, it won't just rearrange your circumstances, it will awaken something eternal within you. The same places that once carried sorrow will overflow with joy. The same heart that once trembled with fear will radiate confidence. The same silence that once felt unbearable will become the sound of peace. This is the beauty of divine fulfillment. God doesn't restore you to what you were before the storm. He raises you into something greater. You'll notice the change first within yourself. You'll wake up one morning and realize that the ache that once consumed you is gone. There will be no announcement, no trumpet, just quiet realization. Your heart will feel light again. Your laughter will return without effort. You'll move through your day with a sense of peace that cannot be explained, only experienced. That's how divine transformation feels subtle but undeniable. Then the outer world will begin to reflect the inner shift. Doors will open that were once bolted shut. Conversations that used to end in disappointment will now bring opportunity. Resources will flow where there was once drought. You will see favor resting on your steps like morning dew on the grass. Things that felt hard will suddenly align. What once required striving will now respond to grace. You will not have to chase what belongs to you, it will find you. The blessing that heaven sends carries your spiritual fingerprint. It cannot be lost or stolen. When the time is right, it will locate you, no matter where life has taken you. And when it does, you'll realize that nothing was truly delayed. It was all divinely synchronized. Transformation is not only external, it's spiritual recognition. You'll look back and see why certain doors had to stay closed, why certain people couldn't go with you, why the silence had to last as long as it did. You'll realize that what once broke you actually built you. Every unanswered question will begin to make sense in the light of fulfillment. The Spirit of God says, what was once pain will become power. What was once waiting will become wisdom. What was once loss will become legacy. The enemy tried to bury you, but heaven was planting you. And now you are blooming in a season that once felt like a grave. You'll carry a new authority, not loud, not prideful, but quiet and undeniable. The kind that comes from surviving what others didn't see. People will sense something different about you. Peace that can't be shaken, faith that doesn't flinch, eyes that carry light. That's what fulfillment looks like. It's heaven visible through a human vessel. And when you speak, your words will heal others. The same cry that once came from your pain will now become a prophetic sound for someone else's breakthrough. You will realize that God didn't just send help to you. He's now sending help through you. This is your transformation. You are stepping into the promise, walking in divine alignment and carrying the fragrance of fulfillment. Nothing wasted, nothing lost, everything redeemed. Take a deep breath and let your spirit rest. You have heard heaven's heart tonight. The waiting has not been wasted. Every moment, every tear, every silence has brought you to this sacred point, the turning of your story. The help you cried for has been dispatched. Even now, it draws near. And though you may not yet see it with your eyes, your spirit already knows it is done. The weight you've carried is being lifted. The doors that were locked are unlocking. The path that was hidden is lighting up beneath your feet. Before we close, seal this word in your heart with faith. Speak these affirmations softly, or let them echo in your soul until they become truth. Affirmation 1. Heaven has heard my cry, and divine help is already here. Affirmation 2. I am covered, chosen, and guided. No power can stand against me. Affirmation 3. Every delay is over. I step into divine timing and favor. Affirmation 4. Peace surrounds me, grace empowers me, and God walks beside me. Let these words settle into your spirit like seed in fertile soil. Speak them in the morning when you wake, and again before you sleep. Speak them until your reality begins to match your revelation. Now hear this blessing. May the same God who heard your whisper in the night now fill your days with light. May His angels go before you, clearing every path meant for your good. May strength rise in you like dawn after the longest storm. May your home, your heart, and your hands overflow with peace and provision. May the sound of your weeping turn into the sound of worship, for joy is coming not later but now. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not alone. Heaven has moved on your behalf, and everything begins to align from this moment forward. What was once held back is being released. What was once hidden is being revealed. As you walk forward, walk with confidence, not in yourself, but in the one who sent help before you even knew you needed it. The same God who carried you this far will carry you into fulfillment. Receive this blessing deep in your spirit, peace to your mind, strength to your body, clarity to your path, hope to your heart. It is finished. It is fulfilled. It is your time. Heaven heard your cry, and God has sent help tonight.